Hi guys, this is a little bit of an impromptu video today. Of course, unglued Brit here. I've got my decaffeinato coffee. Now, today we're going to talk about something very important, and that is the case for voting with your feet. And of course, why am I bringing this up? I've been seeing all over social media and all over YouTube that the Brits have had enough. They're leaving. So the productive class of especially young males are just thinking, you know what? I think all we can do is leave at this point. And there's even been a song made about it. I'll just quickly pop it up here for a minute because it brings a tear to my eye. It's beautiful.
The UK's fucked up and there's no one coming over to save me. Elon Musk is trying to beef with Kia Star's crazy. All that we want is our borders closed, but all that we got is whoever's enclosed. If I speak my mind, then I am far right. I guess I better pack my bags, cause I'm fucking up over to Poland, where the streets are safe, and you're not here to lock me up in jail over a comment I put on Facebook. I guess I kinda like the way you push me away. We're patriotic, but one thing is that we are not racist. I try and see a doctor, but my time is just wasted. I'm not being funny, but where are the kids? No women inside, just bet on no chips. Stop giving them money and sort out our shit. I guess you'd rather make more friends like Jimmy and Phil over in Poland. They keep their streets safe, and you're not here to lock me up in jail over some comments I left on Facebook. I guess I kinda like the way you push me away.
Fantastic song that is. But it's true. That is the general feeling of people in Britain. It's like, well, hang on, we're paying 40% tax, you know. I think the typical real rate is something like 41 to 43%. And what happens is that these people are paying all this tax. They can't see a doctor, they can't see a dentist, they can't use really any of the public services. And even when they, say for instance, travel on public transport, and we know how cheap it is where I am, but when you're in Britain and you're paying for public transport, you would think with all that tax money, you'd be able to see a doctor. The doctor should come to your house, right? The dentist, you should be able to pop in there tomorrow morning. You should be able to catch a train for like 50p. You know, you would think that, wouldn't you? But you can't. And the reason being is, again, the UK is a cash cow, fundamentally. And the thing is, the contract used to be, we will pay you tax and you will give us services in return, infrastructure in return, but everyone can see they're not getting it. Okay? So, of course, the question then becomes, as well, why would one live in a country that has disdain for them? Why would they want to live there? Because it's funny, because you pay all of these taxes in the UK, like between 20%, well, real rate 41 to 43% tax, and the government came out and basically, well, the literal Prime Minister of the country comes out to express his hatred and anger towards you when you have valid concerns. So you're not allowed to speak because the Prime Minister's just going to crack down on you, and he's going to get you arrested for mean social media posts. Is there a chance through an election to possibly be able to vote for someone else? And many people learn in the UK, no, not really, and a lot of people have currently got a lot of disdain for the last election, actually. The fact that 17% of the population voted for the party that's in power, the Labour Party, that goes to show you what kind of democracy this is. It's not really much of one, is it? So this whole democratic dream is kind of peeling before the British public's eyes. It's kind of falling away, and it's kind of like the reality has come out. The cat is out of the bag, and people saw that election and thought, wow, so if this is just the way it is, where the uni party, i.e. Conservatives, Labour, Lib Dems, so that there are these three, and they're always going to be the ones that have the raps on power in the country, infinitum, then of course, if that's the case, it then becomes the question, well, what can I do? What can I do? Because, again, there's no way to, of course, be heard in an election, because we know what's going to happen. I even predicted that Labour was going to come in, because it was, like, obvious. I think we all knew. Yeah. So, of course, we've got the first past the post voting system, which basically means, you know, really the top two parties are always going to remain in power, and they do the exact same thing as each other. And there's no denying that. So it becomes the question, okay, so there's no vote no way out of this. These people will always be in power, forever and ever, amen, and they hate us. So why am I paying money to them? Why am I paying these people? And that's kind of the thing. I think that's where a lot of British people are at the moment, because naturally, it's like, come on, we are paying you, we are tilling the soil, we are working our butts off for ridiculous hours, and paying you scoundrels to show how much contempt you have for the British public. So, yeah, people are at the point now, from what I can see on social media, let's think about packing our bags and get out. Because I'll tell you what, if overnight, just the British people just pack their bags, you know, the people that till the soil get to work and contribute to the economy and contribute to society, if they all just start packing their bags and just going elsewhere, it doesn't matter where, Timbuktu, whatever, and just said, I'm never paying a single tax to the UK government again. Not a single tax bill, more. Yeah, well, watch how quickly they become meek and nice overnight. So I think that's where a lot of people are at. They've had their power taken away from them, and now they want their power back. And I believe that voting with your feet is one way to get your power back, actually. If you are not in line with the authorities' values or authorities' ways or authorities' wills, then go. Then go. There's the door. And you know what? As someone that's done it myself, I soon learned, because there was this crazy concept in Britain, and I fell for it in my ignorance. But there was this concept that because it's this way here, this is just how the world is. Everybody says it. This is just how the world is. Well, no, it's not, actually. There are actually good parts of the world. It doesn't need to be like this. It can be another way. So there are other parts of the world that, of course, are doing quite all right, actually, and not like that, not like Britain at all. And that's kind of the thing. You don't really, again, if you want to pack your bags and leave, yeah, you don't need to put up with it. It was certainly the best decision I ever made. So yeah, there's my point on that one. Now, another point I want to come to is, what are you getting for your tax in the UK? What are you getting, really? We've kind of been over it, but just answer it honestly, boldly, truthfully. What are you getting? Do you see new infrastructure? The UK, for the amount it pays in tax, the billions and billions and billions it pays in tax every single year, should literally have the shiniest, most modern architecture and the best country in the world. However, it's not. It's all going up someone's nose, or it's all going abroad somewhere, and it's all being funneled off here, there, and everywhere. And you're left to be poor, and you've got pensioners thinking about, oh, can I eat? Can I heat the house? Can I eat? What can I do? And that's kind of the thing. It's like, how unfair is that? That these people work their whole lives for a pension, only to have the new government come in and then cut £200 off the top end of that pension, and then the rest for other people. And that's kind of where it's at. People are just absolutely sick and tired. They're fed up of this, because it's like they get less and less. They get things are just taken and taken and taken away from this each year, but they have to work harder and harder and harder. And I'm here to tell you and give you a message of freedom and tell you it doesn't need to be that way. It doesn't need to be that way. There is the third option, and the third option on the ballot box is just go, just leave. Seriously, take your money, take your energy, go somewhere else. Because I'll tell you what, I can speak for myself. Can't speak for everybody, of course, but in my own experience, it was the best thing I ever done. Another point, just coming briefly to that, one thing that I learned when I left, some countries have hosepipe bans, the UK, and some countries just build dams and infrastructure and water reserves and water reservation facilities. One of those countries is Georgia, which is considered a developing country. I used to live there for a year, and when I was living there, it was absolutely okay for me to go back to the UK and then see that I couldn't use a hosepipe, so I couldn't fill up a pool. I couldn't fill up a little paddling pool to go for a swim in because it was so hot. But then you go back to Georgia. Now, in the UK as well, I used to pay £35 for a water bill each month. I was paying like £1 or £2 per month for water in Tbilisi, Georgia. And because they have an abundance of water. You know why? Because they have it in reserves. The UK is the wettest country in Europe. It rains cats and dogs all the time. How are they not reserving water? How is the UK dry? Does anyone ever think about that for a minute? How does the UK need hosepipe bans when Tbilisi, Georgia has way hotter temperatures, way drier summers? Yeah, we never had a hosepipe ban. Because again, you're paying all that in tax and you get zero in infrastructure. What kind of a joke is that? Seriously, what kind of a joke is that? And that's the leadership class, and that's the Uni Party, and they're absolutely happy with that scheme. Yeah, we'll just put the taxes up, but you're going to get nothing for that tax money. Another thing would also be, in terms of the next point, family protection and family-friendly nations. Now, I've got something to tell you. There are grooming gangs all around the planet. Most countries don't tolerate that. The UK does. The UK is absolutely fine with having grooming gangs or roaming up and down the streets, all through blooming Bradford and Birmingham and Telford and Sheffield and all of these different places. The UK government and the police are absolutely fine with grooming gangs on the street, pestering teenagers, pestering children. They're not arresting these people because they don't want to be called racist. Okay, a groomer's a groomer. I think they should go straight to prison, but what do I know? All I can tell you is it's not tolerated in most countries. And also the fact that they also indoctrinate your kids with sexual education, you know, of the kinds, the alphabet mafia education in the schools. They actually really don't do that in the majority of the world. Like, it's bonkers in the East. It's bonkers in most parts of the world. It's just like the West doing that. So it turns out that if you want to move to a family-friendly nation, yeah, you can quite easily find one, actually. You don't need to be worried about your daughter walking to school, it turns out, in other countries. Right then, and I'm just going to move on to our last point of the evening. Number 6, Christians. Now, today I turned on a news channel and it turns out that a bunch of extremists decided to destroy a church and rip a church down while they were on their march through the city centre. And a bunch of Christians were terrified and petrified of it. Now, the thing is with Starmer, he's actually offered like financial protection to all of these different religions, but not the Christians. No protection for Christians. So the Christians are persecuted, basically, because, again, It's not just by the UK. I do want to stress that. It's also by the West. The whole West hates them. I mean, goodness, you've just had a church destroyed today, and just the other week, what we were watching, yeah, the blooming Paris Olympics, right, where they decided to do a whole satanic performance, which was indeed the Last Supper, and decided to make a mockery out of Jesus Christ, and put a bunch of fat trannies all around, and decided, right, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to give the middle finger to the Christians, and that's kind of the thing. It's just another show of disdain for, again, Christians as a whole, but it's also a show of disdain, and it also shows something else spiritually. It shows that they are on the side of Satan, because that was a satanic performance. I mean, there are a bunch of different symbolic gestures that they made with the horsemen, with the worship of Baal, with all of these different aspects. They were clearly showing that, yeah, by the way, now, we're just letting it out. We like Satan. That's what they were saying. Okay? And sorry, Lord, for even letting that exit my mouth. Ugh. But point being, that's what's going on. So again, you're in a completely spiritually desolate desert. It's just, yeah, a horrible place. And not only that, I'm just going to follow on with another bonus point, actually, because that's another point. I'm just thinking out loud here. But when it comes to it, when it comes to all that's been going on, it's like, again, when you look around the streets, now, again, this is another thing that you don't really see in other countries, okay? Division. The division the way it is in the UK. People are, like, just sad, fed up, and just divided. Like, for instance, after Brexit, what happened after Brexit? Yeah, the obvious. People after Brexit, like, they weren't going to each other's family meals. Like, and there's just been this division ever since of this blooming, I don't know what to call them, this kind of mutant class, the spiteful mutant class that just hates Britain and hates everything it stands for and just wants to tear it down and destroy it. And then you've just got the average working man and woman that just wants to be left alone, just wants to have a safe life, just wants to live in a comfortable, family-friendly environment where, you know, they can just have a normal life without all of this garbage pushed into their households, you know. And for them, enough is enough, yeah? So, again, when people say things like, you know, stay and fight, it's like, you've got to ask yourself, what is there to stay and fight for? If you're a productive working person, right, good luck being so productive and so hard-working that you're going to build a house in England anytime soon, because, you know, that's unaffordable. Whereas you can just go to another country, and the thing is, they will welcome you. If you're a hard-working, productive, law-abiding citizen, guess what? They'll welcome you. If you respect the culture, respect the codes, and integrate, they will. You'll be welcomed. Absolutely welcomed. And that's the thing. You for your whole life have only provided positive outcomes for your family, worked for your family, worked for the government, worked for everybody. And now you're being hated for it. So, you know what? Like, that's the case for voting with your feet. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope that my thoughts weren't just me babbling on and, you know, just going on. I hope that was quite clear. It was just completely off the cuff this evening. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care now. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my Telegram either. Get on my Telegram. It's cool. Links in the description.
There is another way. It's your game I no longer play. It's time to part ways. Sorry, but I can no longer stay. We've had it, it's time to change the tune. Mr. Starmer, we've had just about enough of you. We're gone. There is another way. Feel it in my soul. Every night and day. take back control. I just paid my last bill, addressed to HMRC. Thank you, sir, goodbye, that's the last you'll see of me. I broke out, I'm finally free. Storms that came before, this riot's just one more. The straw broke the camel's back, now it's